1-1 review. There we go. Put that name in that top right hand corner. Today's date is 9/29/20. So slope-intercept form is our main guy today. Does anyone remember what slope-intercept form looks like? Yeah, you got it. So there we go. We got all of our pieces now. We got y equals mx plus b. There we go. So with our y equals mx plus b, everybody write that down. We have our most important part for our slope-intercept form is our m and our b. So m is our slope. And we always say that slope is rise over run. So m is rise over run. Now one thing I always like to talk about with our rise over our run is that there's two main types of slope we see. We see a positive slope. Does anyone here remember where positive slopes go if it's rise over run?
It's up right.
You got it, up and right. So it goes up and right. Okay. And then your negative slopes would go where? You got it, bottom. So we go down. And then we're still going to run right though. We always run right if we can help it. And that just kind of helps keep us in order. So if you want to make yourself like those two notes of which direction your slopes are going to go, so positive slopes go up and right, and negative slopes go down and right. Okay. Now, our next part, and most important guy, is our B. And B is the y-intercept. Okay? So B is our y-intercept. And as far as it goes, I always like to do this visual. You don't have to write it out with me. But if we have a coordinate plane like this, which axis is our y-axis? You got it. I want to go straight up and down. Very good. So if this is our y-axis, and that's our y-intercept, our first point will always be on this y-axis. So just kind of make yourself a note that it's on the y-axis. And since it doesn't go left or right at all, it's only allowed to go up or go down, it always starts out with the first value being 0, and then whatever number b is in your slope-intercept form. So 0, b. I know sometimes b looks like a 6, so kind of make sure your b doesn't look like a 6. Sometimes I can make like a little bit longer, that way it doesn't look like a 6. I'm one of those people, when I write in a hurry, I get mixed up. And there we go. That's our most important parts of slope-intercept form. I apologize because due to everything, I cannot give you all straight edges. So like for this next portion, we're going to make lines as straight as we possibly can. But we do have graph paper, so that will help us to make everything nice and neat. So as far as we go on, does anybody have any questions with this part? Alrighty. Buttons. So our first example today, so example 1, is we're going to have y equals 1/2 x plus 2. Alright. So we're asked to graph this equation. So everybody write it down. So that's our equation we're going to have to graph. We know it's going to make a line because all these we're going to see today are linear equations. So we're going to get a line out of it. And now we just have to remember, what were the two main pieces I said were the most important in looking at this one? You can look at what you just wrote down. What did we say the first piece was?
M.
So if you think about it, I always like to do this. If you want to do this too, you can. I write my slope-intercept form real small above my problem. That way I can match up my pieces. So we did say one of the most important parts was m. So if you look, m's there. And what's right below my m in my real equation? 1/2. You got it. So m's going to be 1/2. And while we're here at m, remember he's a rise over run. So if it's a +1 over +2, where is that going to send me for a slope? You got, we're going to rise, so it's going to go up 1, and then 2 is going to send me right 2. You got it. Perfect. Now the next most important piece we said to find was what? B. So right here we have B. And we have to write B a certain way. You all remember what I said? Look at your example in your B you just wrote down. What had to come first?
0.
0. Perfect. So 0. And then we just match up. What was B in my original one? 2. Awesome. Now on your graph paper, just make what I call a baby coordinate plane. So we're just going to go 4 in every direction. So numbers won't be very big. We'll make our Y. I don't know why I do this, but I always make my Y-axis first. So you make whatever axis you want to first. X, and just make 4 tick marks in every direction. So we're going to go 4 up, 4 down, 4 left, 4 right. And like I said, all the numbers I'm going to pick for today will be really small, so just make a baby coordinate plane there. The big part. Do you all remember when we graphed it, which one of these we start with, M or B? It rhymes. So if I say we begin with, you got the y-intercept. We're going to begin with our B, our y-intercept there. So begin with B. And if you all forgot that, you can always just, I always like the fact it rhymes. Begin with B. Because it rhymes. It's a nice little way to remember it. So if I begin with B, B is 0, 2. So 0 when is going to be the origin, and then where's 2 going to send me? You got it, up 2, 1, 2. Yeah, because if you think about it, it's your order pair, it's X and Y. So X is 0, so it's the origin. And then 2 sends you for your Y-axis up or down. Order pairs are always X and Y. So X comes first. It's okay. Here's the big thing. If you remember that B is your y-intercept, and it's always going to be on this y-axis, that will be your catch-all. Okay? Because we're told to start with our y-intercept, it's just going to be on the y-axis. So now, everybody make sure you got your pencil there on your 0, 2. So keep your pencil there at 0, 2. And now we're going to use our slope.
Pardon the interruption.
We have our slope now. Where do we say the slope told us to go? You got it. Up 1, right 2. So we're going to put your pencil back on this point. And from this point, we're going to go up 1 and then over 2. So up 1, then right 1, 2. And we can do that one more time. We go up 1 and then right 1, 2. Now, let's pretend I didn't have enough room to keep going up and right. Does anybody else know where I could go to make a line? You got it. You could go down and left because down is negative and left is negative, and we know 2 negatives make a positive. You got it. And now we're just going to make a nice long line, arrows on each end, and we're done. And remember, slope is your rate of change, so it keeps going and going and going. You can make as many points or as few. So example 2, we have y equals, I'll make a straight mark there, negative 2x plus 3. So once again, we have our slope-intercept form. You all don't have to do this, but I always like to. If you have trouble seeing your slope-intercept form, match up your y equals mx plus b right over top of it. That way we know exactly what our pieces are. So, and the good thing is, where this is our second example, look up at your first example and just say, what do we say were the main pieces we need to pull out of this? Well, look, what were the variables we had equals to? Alright, B and M. So we gotta find our M and our B. So I don't know why I do M first. I guess because it's in the first tier of the equation. But where we have y equals M, and M's always the guy beside the X. So who's gonna be our M for this one? Hello. I see his man. Okay. I can also do that. Thank you. So, what's going to be our M for this one? You got -2. You can grab the X if you want to. You don't have to, though. So, we said it's -2. And now, if you think about it, we said slope was rise over run. And we have an integer here, which means it's a whole number and it's negative. You got where to go down and right. But how many do we know to run right if it's just -2? You want to know what can go under all whole numbers? 1. You got it. And we were told perfectly we're going to go down and right. There we go. Awesome. So we have our slope officially. The next thing you all told me we need to find was our B. So we always say it's going to be parentheses, and what goes first in it? The order pair. 0. Awesome. And now what's our B? 3. It's going to be 0, 3. And now we're going to come out to the side, make another baby coordinate plane. We should go 4 in every direction again. X-axis, Y-axis. So 4 up, 4 down, 4 right, 4 left. I did that one backwards that time. Alrighty. So now, we have our coordinate plane. We have our information here we found. What do we need to begin with in order to graph this line? Remember, it rhymes. We begin with B. Begin with P. So B is going to send us to 0. 0 is the origin, and then we're going to go up 3. So X value, then Y value. So 0, then up 3. 1, 2, 3. There we go. So we have our first point there on our Y-axis. Okay, keep your pencil there. And now our slope tells us to go where? You got it. Down 2, right 1. So down 2, 1, 2, right 1. You do it again. Down 2, 1, 2, right 1. And there we go. We have 3 points. We make a nice long line with arrows on each end. And we're set.